And that's why I know they would move you.
That's where the Susquehannock Indians used to live. We give the Susquehannock Indians credit for finding our caverns first. As you can turn around, you can see the large rock.
Trippy too.
The third unnatural color is cave red. There is a lot of this in the caverns. It's just explorers and their initials and the dates. I will point out a few of it to you, but there's a lot that I haven't seen in the caverns, so you might point out a few to me. Okay? In 1929, a man by the name of John Beaver bought the caverns. He was the one who put in the stonework in the patio and what we'll be walking on pathways and the hand railings and the stairs. Everything is natural in here. The tunnels that were blasted out, I will tell you. The gravel that is on the floor is for your safety because underneath it is natural clay deposits. And when the clay is exposed and if it gets wet, it's very slippery. Okay, so we're going to... Okay, the name of the room that we're in right now is called the Indian Ballroom. It is the largest room of the caverns. It was formed when a river coming from the eastern canyon and from the northern canyon combined and formed a large whirlpool. The whirlpool lasted for millions of years and carved out this entire room. You can tell by some of the marks upon the ceiling. There are four important features in this room. The first one is our Indian ear of corn. And this is actually what grows down towards the ground. The opposite of it is our cavern guardian. This is what grows up towards the ceiling. What happens when a stalagmite reaches the ceiling, when a stalactite reaches the ground, or when they both form and meet each other, they form a column or a pillar. This is it right up here. The natural color of it is this whitish color up here. It's from calcium deposits. This is formed when laid in mineral water, drips down across the rock, deposits the minerals, and then it just grows that way. The flowstone to grow takes about 30 to 35 years for just 1 cubic inch. For the stalactites and stalagmites to grow, it takes about 100 to 150 years for just 1 cubic inch. We're going to be going into the driest room of the caverns. But to get to it, we have to go underneath the wettest part. So if you have anything in Okay, what you did just walk under is the wettest part of the caverns. It's called the natural bridge because it does naturally form the shape of a bridge. It's made up of iron oxide, and the iron oxide acts like a natural sponge. It collects all the water throughout the year and then continuously drips on us. The room that we're in right now is the driest room though. It's called the blue room. It's called the blue room because of all the blue limestone throughout it. And with the blue room is a small fairy tale. It's about a giant and a mummy who are the best of friends. And one night the mummy was reading a book to the giant when they heard a loud roar coming from the bridge. The mummy was so scared he jumped right out of his bed and dropped the book he was reading. Then ran out underneath the natural bridge and was never seen or heard of again. The giant was very scared also. And following his friend, he forgot how tall he was, and he bumped his head on the bridge. This threw him back. He had a giant temper tantrum, the shoe print right up in the ceiling. He then crawled out underneath the bridge and seated, was never seen or heard of again. But if they would have just stayed a little bit longer, they would have found out it was just the friendly cave dragon. Here's his eye, his mouth and teeth, long forked tongue, his body, a claw, and a large wing. The dragon was so ashamed of himself for scaring away his friends, he turned to stone and we can never talk to him again. Okay, in this room is also your first example of cave riding. Look at it as we go into the next room. Okay, the name of this room is the dead end room. It's called this for obvious reasons. It does come to a dead end. Thousands of years ago, past this wall was a room several times larger than the Indian ballroom. But the ceiling caved in and left this large landslide. This is all natural, except many of these rocks were put here because behind them is natural clay deposits. And without the rocks there, the clay would flow all over the pathways. It would be too slippery for us to walk. When the ceiling caved in, it also left this crack up here. This, for many years, was our southern entrance, but it was recently filled in because many hobos from the local railroad track were coming through that entrance and stay overnight in the caverns. Many animals would also come in through there, so for your safety, it's been closed off. When the ceiling caved in, it left all these marks upon the ceiling. These are stress marks. This is from all the pressure from when the ceiling caved in. And now all that goes out through the southern entrance is our 3 miles of wires. Are there any questions in this room? Okay, right now we are directly underneath the White House, about 9 feet directly below around this point up here. Okay, in front of you is our sump pump. The sump pump takes care of any excess water in the caverns, and it's failed us twice. The first time was in 1972 when Hurricane Agnes came around. She filled our caverns up with water up to this point. 3 years later, Hurricane Eloise came around and filled the caverns up with water to this point. Each time it took about 1 month to 1.5 months to naturally get out all the water. Went through cracks and went through the front natural entrance and flowed into the Soterra Creek. Okay, in front of you is our wall of imaginations. And it starts off with our tree made of mushrooms. Perched on top we have our wise old owl, a monkey, and 2 lovebirds. And the king koala bear, beside a herd of 17-legged elephants, the famous snuffleupagus, a laughing hippopotamus, and an upside-down New York City. We also have on our other wall the color many of you have seen lately. It's our giant-sized Hershey kit, a winking eye, a nose, a big ear, another ear, and the whole body laying down. If you stare in the dark in front of my light, once I turn my light off, you'll be able to see the caveman of the cavern staring right back at you. Yeah, it was really cool. Okay, the name of this room is the Rainbow Room, because it is the most colorful room of the caverns. The blue room is called the blue room because of all the blue limestone. But in this room you can see how blue the limestone can actually get. Beside it, the yellowish white is calcite, and the reddish brown is both iron oxide and clay. You can also see some smoke damage along the walls. Boys from the local town of Hummelstown were exploring through the caverns. And right up on that ledge where the white light is shining, they found a small wooden box. They took the box down and opened it up, and inside they found a small glass vial, some gemstones, some moonstones, and many old coins. The oldest coin dated back to 1288 in Morocco, and the newest one in 1915 in Turkey. They took it home and put many ads in the newspapers, but no one ever claimed it. So in 1972, the last of the 3 boys, Russell Ziders, brought the box back to us, and is now in our possession up in the gift shop. It's called the mystery box because we don't know who put it up there, when they put it up there, why they put it up there. So at the end of the tour, you're welcome to see the mystery box. This is the snake. Yeah, this one was awesome. The name of the room that we're in right now is called Wedding Room. We're on Wedding Bridge over Wedding Lake. Called this because many weddings have taken place in here. The last was around 4 years ago. The body of water beneath us is a completely separate body of water than Crystal Lake. And its deepest point is around over here, about 8 feet deep. A lot of rainwater dripping down. That is how all the water is filled in this entire caverns. All along you can see a lot of white caps on the rocks. These are called soda straw stalactites. These are around 100 years old. Called soda straw stalactites because they are very hollow and they do look like the ends of soda straws. All along you can see a lot of stalagmites that look like they've been broken off. And they have been broken off. It was from the early explorers. They didn't realize how much they're ruining the caverns and they broke them off for souvenirs. We're going to be heading down into our last room. It's where a man lived for the last 19 years of his life. And as you go down, you can look over to your left. There's a lot of white bumps on the rocks. These are the beginnings of stalagmites also, and they're around 150 years old. So you can take a look at them as you go down. I have to stay up here to turn off the lights. Go right to your bed. Wilson lived here for 19 years of his life. He was fed up with society and wanted to live on his own and wandered around the world for 17 years. He never found a place until 1802, which is when he found the caverns. We're able to know that he made a fire right around here because of all the smoke damage. He used the fire to warm up this ledge because he slept behind the boulder up on and let it reach down to the ground. And every day and every night he'd bring it back up with him so no one would be able to find him. One day in 1821, the local farmer that he worked for realized that William didn't show up for work. So he came to the caverns looking for him and found him dead of natural causes. This is the true story up in the Pennsylvania State Library. There is a book on it. It's called The Pennsylvania Hermit. And even though it's not a very happy ending, it is the conclusion of your tour. But to stay in here to turn off lights, of course. You can go out right in front of the metal gate, and then I'll just tell you a couple more things and then you get out.
If you want to take it, whichever you want, babe. Get that other one. That's fine.
Well, here's more of the snack ones for you.